refers to the expenses which a government incurs for first, number one, its own maintenance. Second, the society and the economy. And third, helping other countries. So, if you read this line, you can be clear about what do we mean by public expenditure. It refers to the expenditure which the government incurs on these heads. Number one, the state spends on its own maintenance. That means the salaries to the people in the state services, administrative services, judicial services, पुलिस सर्विसेज है ना. तो ये वाला जो एक्सपेंडिचर है ये कहलाता है कि स्टेट ने अपने मेंटेनेंस के लिए ये खर्चा किया, and that is one of the items of public expenditure. Then the second is the society and the economy. And then the state is elected by the people, for the people, and of the people. So the responsibility of the state is to maximize the welfare of the society or the general masses. And that is why this is the second head on which we talk about the public expenditure to be incurred, that is for the society and the economy. And the third one is helping other countries. That means not only when we are talking about globalization, when we are talking about trade with each other, then we don't have to limit ourselves to one's own country, but we have to talk about others also. So help in terms of trade with other countries, help in terms of promotion of exports to other countries. So that is how the third item comes in. So this is how the public expenditure has been defined. Now, some historical background that how public expenditure has gained importance. You can write, historically, public expenditure has recorded a continuous increase over time in almost every country. However, traditional thinking and philosophy did not favor this trend. Traditional philosophy means जो classical economists थे, Adam Smith and the classical thinkers. The traditional thinking and philosophy did not favor this trend because it rated market mechanism as a better guide for the working of the economy, and allocation of its resources. As you remember, Adam Smith was of the opinion of laissez-faire economy, and he felt that the government intervention should be least, and that is why they were the people, the traditional philosophy said that we should leave everything in the hands of the market forces of demand and supply, and the state should not be given too much importance, or it's a kind of unnecessary existence. And if we assume state to exist, then we will have to, maintain it, and give taxes in the form of maintenance of the state. So unnecessarily we should not do it. So that is why there was a, conflict between the traditional philosophy and the experience, which we said. Experience in the first line says that the public expenditure is increasing day by day in almost every country. But on the other hand, the traditional philosophers did not agree with this, and they said that the market mechanism should be left free to operate, and automatically it is a better mechanism to ensure the efficient working of the economy. Now it was argued that economic unit was the best judge economic unit was the best judge of its own economic interests. Economic unit are the best judge of its own economic interests, and the government should not decide and the government should not decide on behalf of others. In reality, the state could not ignore the problems of economic growth and social injustice. The state could not ignore problems of economic growth and social injustice, and it could not remain a silent spectator and it could not remain a silent spectator of the miseries of the people. This resulted in the acceptance of several versions of socialist and welfare philosophy. That means the state, we could not leave everything, as the traditional philosophers said, in the hands of the market. State could not remain as a silent spectator, because there was economic injustice being done. There was inequalities in income and wealth distribution, and that is why the state had to pitch in. The state had to perform the role of the facilitator or the controller of the economic activities. And that is where comes the acceptance of socialist philosophy, the welfare philosophy. That means the function of the welfare will be assigned to the state only. The welfare of the general people, the common masses, will be assigned to the state only, because no individual will be interested in getting or maximizing the welfare of the common people. Now, next para. However, in spite of the fact that public expenditure has increased rapidly during the last 2 centuries, the area of public expenditure remains relatively unexplored. The area of public expenditure remains relatively unexplored. And it may be pointed out that the deficiency in terms of public expenditure will be removed by various studies in the fields of public expenditure. There are two well-known theories of increasing public expenditure, which are as follows. I'll share the screen now. The first theory is Wagner's law of increasing state activities. This is one of the theories which explain increasing public expenditure and the nature of it. Adolf Wagner, his name was Adolf Wagner. He was a German economist who gave this law of increasing state activities on historical facts, particularly based on Germany. Now, what did he say? You can write, according to Wagner, there are inherent tendencies. There are inherent tendencies for the activities of different layers of the state. There are inherent tendencies for the activities of different layers of the state. Different layers means center as well as state. Central, state, local, ये सब आपके layers होते हैं. So different layers of a government such as central and state governments to increase both intensively and extensively. There is a functional relationship between the growth of the economy and government activities. There is a functional relationship between the growth of an economy and the government activities, with the result that the government sector grows faster than the economy. Now, a number of reasons can be enumerated for this long-term tendency recorded in history. A number of reasons can be enumerated for this inherent long-term tendency recorded in history. Why the state activities were increasing, there are number of reasons for that. Now you can list those reasons in short. First one is defense. You can say traditional functions. Traditional functions were increasing. The state was expected to perform traditional functions like defense, law and order, and the government had to do increasing expenditure on these items. They became increasingly more expensive over time. So, like administrative setup also increased both in terms of coverage and intensity. That means more and more people were brought into the network of administrative setup, and then more and more functions were required from the government to protect the country, because every other country was spending so much, so we had also to spend so much. So that way, based on his experience of Germany, he tried to highlight this fact that there are traditional functions which are increasing both in coverage and intensity, and that is why the public expenditure which the government has to incur is also going to rise on a regular basis. Secondly, the state activities were increasing in their coverage, which means with the growing awareness of its responsibility to the society, with the growing awareness of the responsibilities to the society, the government started expanding its activities in the field of socio-economic welfare. For example, enriching the cultural life of the society, providing social security to the people, provision of subsidies for merit goods, or reducing inequalities in income and wealth distribution. ये सारे आपके वेलफेयर फंक्शंस हो गए. समझ में आ रहा है सेकेंड रीजन क्या हो गया? आपने यहाँ पे कवरेज की बात की. कवरेज का मतलब ये है कि नॉट ओनली ट्रेडिशनल फंक्शंस बट वी आर ऑल्सो एम्फसाइजिंग ऑन वेलफेयर फंक्शंस ऑफ द स्टेट. एंड वेलफेयर फंक्शंस के एग्जांपल्स मैंने आपको दिए, जैसे सोशल सिक्योरिटी प्रोविजंस, नाउ पेंशन, ग्रेचुटी, इंश्योरेंस. दीज आर द social security provisions which the state is expected to spend on. Then the subsidies. What is subsidy? You must have been knowing it because now you are in PG. So whatever subsidies are being provided, the government is expected to provide those subsidies for the important areas or sectors, for example agricultural crops, or for example the other kinds of sectors which are important. Then merit goods का मतलब वही हो गया कि which increases or enhances the merit of the society. Then we also talk about income and wealth inequalities, because a lot of income and wealth inequality is prevalent, and to reduce that, the government has to spend more on the welfare of the poor people so that they can upgrade themselves, and then the equality can be again restored, reduce the inequalities. So this is how the second reason which Wagner talked about the increasing state activities. And the third point, the need to provide and expand, the need to provide and expand the sphere of public goods received an increasing attention. The state tried to shift the composition of national produce. The state tried to shift the attention of national produce, shift the composition of national produce in favor of public goods. Now, what are public goods? I am not going into that because we have already talked a lot about it. And this necessitated the expansion of investment activity of the government. And this necessitated the expansion of investment activity of the government. These were the three main reasons for increasing state activities given by Wagner. Now, some additional factors also were there, which was emphasized by the later economists. Now, what are they? You can just write in brief so that you can expand it. Firstly, population. Now, population is a factor which gives rise to increasing amount of public expenditure by the state, as you know. So you can explain it. I think you can explain it in your own words that many societies are experiencing a growing population, and that is why supporting that population, feeding that population, giving infrastructure facilities to that population is a challenge for the government, right? Because no private capitalist will be interested in that. So population, you can write, and you can logically explain it in 2-3 lines, that because of the increasing population, the government role and responsibility also increases in terms of feeding them, providing infrastructure, providing health facilities, providing education, more schools, more hospitals, more police, more law and order situations. So that justifies the increasing public expenditure in terms of population. Secondly, you can also talk about increasing urbanization. That is also additional factor. Urbanization का मतलब क्या होता है? Can anyone tell me? Urbanization means more and more people migrate from the rural areas to the urban areas. This is a process. Urbanization is a process where more and more people tend to migrate from the rural areas to the urban areas, and that means the government, the state responsibility increases more in terms of providing civic amenities to these larger number of people. है ना, कहा जाता है ना कि बहुत सारे गांव के लोग अगर माइग्रेंट अभी को आ जाते हैं शहर में, जो कि हो रहा है, तो in that case automatically they will create slums. Now if they will also come and put a pressure on the urban economy, so who is going to handle that? Only the government or the state in terms of public expenditure. So that is, you can summarize in 2-3 lines this factor, which is called increasing urbanization. And urbanization implies much larger per capita expenditure on civic amenities. Third factor is, you can say, the price rise. Prices have a tendency to go up. And so if prices go up, automatically the state expenditure will go up. Even if the scale of public services remain unchanged, that means the coverage remain unchanged, but if the prices rise, then automatically we will be needing more support from the state. So it increases the expenditure, because like people will want more hike in their wages, people will want more salaries, so automatically it will require more public expenditure on the part of the government to cope with this price rise. Then the fourth factor, need for ever increasing specialization. This is also a need of the hour. What? That we don't want common people, we want specialists, we want those people who carry a specialization in in promoting better quality, both in terms of quality and quantity. We have to ensure that the people are well versed, and that is why now we are talking more about skill development and all these things. So automatically, if we feel the need for ever increasing specialization, that means the government will have to pitch in and spend more in terms of training of the people, training programs, employment oriented schemes, vocational training. So increase in public expenditure will obviously happen there also. So I think all of you understand what I am trying to look at these points. तो आप इसमें ये बताइएगा कि जब स्पेशलाइजेशन की बात हम करते हैं, that means we want better quality of human resource, and better quality of human resource requires more cost in terms of training, more cost in terms of technical skills, है ना, for these administrators, for these technicians, which automatically will raise the public expenditure amount. Then you can also talk about the modern economy covers up the public debt. Public debt लेना पड़ता है गवर्नमेंट को, जब मान लीजिए पब्लिक एक्सपेंडिचर जो है वो ग्रेटर हो गया पब्लिक रेवेन्यू से. इन दिस सिचुएशन, to bridge up this gap, the government is going to depend on public debt, the debt from the internal as well as external sources. So automatically for this debt refinancing or repayment, you can say, you will have to increase the public expenditure. This will automatically put a pressure on the government, because you will have to repay the loan with much larger interest. So again, rise in the public expenditure because of this factor. So this is how you can briefly talk about the other factors besides these three, which Wagner talked about, which shows that there is an increasing tendency of ever rising state activities, and that is why we cannot limit it, and that is why the government role becomes more important in terms of increasing public expenditure. Now, after this, there is another theory. Is it clear? Please say yes or no, whatever you want to. Or if anything is not clear, please let me know. If it is clear, Wagner's law of increasing state activities.
Yes,
Very okay, very low voice, but you can read it once again and see. Put on Google Wagner's law of increasing state activity. I think you'll get enough matter. You can read it once more, and then if you are not able, because that will, this is one theory which talks about the increasing state expenditure or public expenditure and its reasons. The second theory is Weismann-Peacock hypothesis. Weismann-Peacock hypothesis. This hypothesis was based on the experience of UK. जैसे वैगनर ने जर्मनी के एक्सपीरियंस पे वो बेस किया था. They were of England, so they gave this theory of public expenditure for UK. And what was the main thesis? You can write. The main thesis of these two is that public expenditure does not increase in a smooth and continuous manner. Public expenditure does not increase in a smooth and continuous manner, but in jerks. जैसे गाड़ी में jerk लगता है ना, but in jerks or step-like fashion. That means we cannot say कि public expenditure इस तरह से बढ़ेगा, right? It will be sometimes going up, then it will go down, then it will go up, then it will go down, like this. That's why this is the step-like fashion in which the public expenditure is going to increase according to Weismann-Peacock hypothesis. Now, why is it so that the public expenditure does not increase in a smooth and continuous manner like this curve, but it increases like this? You can write here, at times, some social or other disturbance takes place, creating a need. Some social or other disturbance takes place, creating a need for increased public expenditure which the existing public revenue cannot meet. So, under changed requirements, the public expenditure increases. Under changed requirements, the public expenditure increases and makes the inadequacy of the present revenue quite clear to everyone. The movement from the older level of expenditure and taxation, the movement from the older level of expenditure and taxation to a new and higher level, is called displacement effect. That means if you were at this point, now you are at this point. So ये जो sequence है ये क्या बता रहा है कि the economy is displaced. So this is called displacement effect. That the movement from, you have already written this, the movement from the older level of expenditure and taxation. The taxation is public revenue. So older level of expenditure and taxation to a new level of expenditure and taxation is called displacement effect. Now there is another effect also, the inadequacy of the revenue. The inadequacy of the revenue as compared with the public expenditure creates an inspection effect. Matlab, it requires inspection. What? If public revenue is less than public expenditure. The inadequacy of the revenue as compared with the required public expenditure creates an inspection effect. The government and the people review the revenue position and the need to find a solution to the important problems that have come up and agree to the required adjustments to finance the increased expenditure. They attain a new level of tax tolerance. A new level of tax tolerance. That means people are now ready to tolerate a greater burden of taxation, and as a result, the general level of expenditure and revenue goes up. In this way, the public expenditure and revenue get stabilized at a new level till another disturbance occurs to cause a displacement effect. Thus, each major disturbance leads to the government assuming a larger proportion of the total national economic activity. Or in other words, it's called concentration effect. The concentration effect refers to the tendency for central government economic activity to grow faster than that of state and local governments. The central government to grow faster than that of state and local governments. So in this way, Weizmann-Peacock hypothesis is a description of a particular tendency of public expenditure and does not isolate all the relevant causes at work. All the relevant causes at work. So these are the two theories given by the two different economists for the public expenditure. In a traditional manner, historically, why the public expenditure amount is increasing day by day, and why the traditional phenomena got rejected, that these theories are able to explain it. I think we'll close it here, and you can read it, these two theories, and then after this we will come to the difference between concepts wise pure public expenditure versus private expenditure, and then we will come to the pure theory of public expenditure. So that's all for today.